Beyond the headlines, the noise, the spin, we seek the stories that live within. Past party lines, past powers disguised, we hear the truth in everyday lives. A space for voices, both gentle and strong. Beyond politics, where we all belong.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Beyond Politics on Oz Arab Media, where we take the time to understand how decisions that shape our communities are actually made. I'm Christine, and today I'm joined by Clr Rachelle Harika, Deputy Mayor of the City of Canterbury-Bankstown. Recently re-elected to the role for her third term, Rachelle brings continuity and experience to one of Australia's largest and most diverse local government areas. Now, this conversation matters because local leadership plays a crucial role in responding to evolving communities and their needs, from infrastructure and services to social cohesion and representation. And that's why Rachelle is with us today. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Christine. Thank you for having me.
Of course, any time. Rachelle, I'd like to start with something that people don't know. Who were you before public service?
So who was I? So
Yeah.
I grew up in Yagoona all my life, and prior to my public service role, I had multiple other jobs.
Right.
I started off working at McDonald's,
Oh.
then at a local cafe, and then ventured out working at a state member of parliament's office.
Yeah.
Worked at Commonwealth Bank.
Wow.
Worked in employment services. Came back to state. Came back to an electorate office, working for a state member again, and then worked in a federal member's office.
Amazing. A lot on your
I
resume.
currently work for a federal member.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Well, being such a young councillor, having such a big resume, so that is amazing. Tell me a little bit, Rachelle, about growing up. So we all know that you are a long resident in Yagoona. How that shaped your connection to becoming part of the community and representing it?
So I lived in Yagoona all my life, and I'm very blessed to have my parents that have put me through sportings within my local community. So I played little athletics at the
Wow.
Crest in Bass Hill, as well as soccer at Middleton Park for the Dragons, which was under Badafa. So it kind of gave me a head start for my local community. I went to school at St. Felix in Bankstown and studied at Mount St. Joseph in Milpera, which is just down the road.
Just down the road.
Correct.
Amazing.
And studied at the Western Sydney University. That was at the Milpera site at the time, which is down the road as well. Studied social science, majoring in criminology.
Wow, that's interesting. So
Yes.
while we're talking about things that is really amazing me that I didn't know about you, tell us something that people often misunderstand about you beyond politics, just as a person.
So just as a person, when I started, when I became a counsellor at the age of 23, as you can just imagine how young I was, people just perceived me as I'm young and didn't know my role enough for them to kind of approach me and deal with their particular local issues that they've been dealing at the time. So that was my biggest challenge when I was first
To prove
elected.
yourself
And I
as a
had to-
mature.
Correct. So I had to prove myself along the way to just let everyone know that I am capable of doing the job that I'm currently doing.
Wow, that is amazing. Now, what motivated you, Rachelle, at such a young age to step into local government rather than just contribute from outside the system?
I just wanted to make a difference for the local community and just contribute my part. So I just had taken interest at such a young age, attending my local branch meetings, and have just seen so many local issues arising from these branch meetings. And I just thought I wanted to take that opportunity to, put my hand up and make a difference for the local community and work for my local community and just make a difference for the local area.
That's nice. And what life experiences most influenced you, how you approach decision making?
Just it's the morals and values that I've been taught at such a young age that I have taken on when I am, taking up this important role that has shaped who I am today. And it's just been there for the local community, I guess.
What was the moment, Rachelle, when you realized that public service does really come with a responsibility or a sacrifice? Again, especially going in at a very young age.
It's just the moment when you just got elected, to be honest. The first year was the hardest year because it was very new to me. So I had to learn the ropes. And along the way, you get to realize that being in public life, you have to make those sacrifices within your personal life, where sometimes you have to miss birthdays, you have to miss some of the little milestones to be there for the community, because at the end of the day, they have elected you, and technically I always say you're just married to the community first.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
there's a lot of sacrifices I have made along the way to ensure that I put my community first, but at the same time, you can never forget your family as well. It's really important,
Yes,
because
of course.
the amount of events you attend, the amount of local issues that you have to tackle, the amount of meetings you have to go to, either it's in the very early mornings or the very late nights. It's a lot. And not a lot of people understand. Like, when on council, as soon as I return people's phone calls in the late afternoon, they ask me, I've called you in the morning, why couldn't you answer me? Because we have second jobs as well.
Yes.
So being on council, it's a lot of sacrifice, because each councillor does have a second role, because we don't get paid enough.
Yeah.
So
it's not a full-time job being a counsellor.
It is. Like, it's technically a 7-day job, but we don't get paid
Oh, wow.
as a full-timer. So that's why we have our second jobs behind us. And
Right.
that's why I always say, I feel like, because counsellor, we don't have staff that respond, but we have to respond to emails. We have to attend to local issues. We attend the events. We have to RSVP events. On top of that, we've got our full-time job.
Wow, there's a lot on board. I wanted to ask you more about, the sacrifice. You said you had to let go a lot, little milestones. Being at a young age, 23, 24, and especially this generation nowadays, they're all living on Instagram.
Yeah.
Did you have to let go your life really with your dresses, your makeups, all that, just to let go because you need to look professional?
That's a very good question, Christine. Look, all my life, I've always been like, I wasn't kind of an out there person,
All right.
posting, photos, fun
Yes.
photos, if you say that. But like, I've always stayed true to myself. So I still have my personal Instagram, and then I've got my professional
Okay.
Instagram.
Fair
So my personal one, I still keep it kind of as me,
Yes.
and what I do in my everyday life. I think it's important to stay true to yourself.
Yeah.
In the process of becoming counsellor, because sometimes you can get, roped into having to second guess whether you should do this or do that,
Yes,
because you're in the
course.
public life.
Yes.
But yeah,
And that's where the sacrifice really comes
correct.
in. Amazing. Wow. Rachelle, if I wanted to start talking a little bit about politics, your recent re-election as a deputy mayor, being re-elected for the third term in I can't say in a row, but 3 times. It is a strong signal of trust from the public, if we can say. What does this responsibility mean to you personally at this stage of your journey?
I feel very blessed to be elected, and I had a really good result given the nature and the environment of at that time, that people have entrusted me to represent them. And I don't take that for granted, and this is why I've always been there for the people, because I think it's really important. If someone does have a local issue, regardless if it's not a good outcome, at least you tried your best, you need to respond back to them. And this is
Yes.
where people have that trust, where you were able to kind of close off the issues that they have approached you, to know that you haven't forgotten about them and that you have tried to advocate for them. Even if it's a positive outcome, that's fantastic. But you always have to remember, if you don't get a good outcome, you always have to respond back to the residents, even though it's very hard to.
Yeah.
And I think that's what some of the people do miss in
Yes.
doing that particular.
That keeping personal interaction between you and the people.
Correct. It's very
Yes.
important.
Amazing. But over time in the role, Rachelle, what challenges have you seen in the needs and expectations of the community?
The challenges is there's a lot of people that are wanting
Yes.
things happening within their local area, which by means, like, I do kind of agree.
Yeah.
Like, if I would I would love to raise an issue with my local council to get
Yeah.
things done in the local area. But it's really challenging, because, we can't always get the things that we can be done
Yes.
like in an instant. So those are one of the challenges, I think, is the high expectations of people
If they
approaching
ask,
the counsellor.
it means it's done.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
If they ask, it's done, and that's unfortunately not the
Not the-
case.
yeah.
I wish we had a pool of money where we are able to
Yeah.
upgrade anything and everything of what the residents wish to
Amazing.
want to see. But yeah, that's not
And
the case.
Rachelle, from the first term to the third term of you being in deputy, how did the, if I can say, the needs change from the people? Like, what were their needs in the first term, and how have that changed in the third term?
I feel like as though the needs have never changed because in local government, what you see is what you get. So the needs of what people want are, new footpaths along their streets, their roads being resurfaced. They would like a new community centre being
Right.
upgraded. They want their new local facilities around where they live being
Yes.
upgraded. So I feel like the needs haven't changed. It's just more just over time. If they haven't seen the needs that have changed to the prior years, that they would obviously ask it again. Yeah.
Amazing. From your perspective, Rachelle, what are the biggest challenges facing the growing Council of Canterbury Bankstown?
Yes, very interesting question. So I feel like one of the challenges is just how much the money pool.
Okay.
We need more money because
Yes.
we've got a lot of we're expected to grow by over like 500,000 people in the next few years. And
Wow.
as you can just imagine, like we've got so many sporting facilities. We're one of the largest local government areas. So we've got so many local facilities like community centres. We've got the sporting fields. Like, a lot of people would want to see their kind of local area being upgraded, and obviously we're shortfall on money. So
Yes.
I think that's one of the challenges, is having a large local government area with just so little money,
pool
where
of
we just
money.
have to advocate so much for state and federal government funding to allow these facilities to be upgraded.
Right. You've recently, Rachelle, have been involved in initiatives to promote unity, to include in events like International Day to combat Islamophobia. From your experience, what role does local government really play in maintaining this unity within the diverse community like Canterbury Bankstown?
I just feel like the local government's role is to show solidarity with the community, to let them know that we are with you. I feel like that's the role that the local government should play. Like, for instance, you've seen that the mayor has tackled and taken that leadership when Pauline Hanson had spoken really badly and poorly about Lakemba, where our local mayor
Let me mention, he responded in a very smart way.
Correct, he did very calmly,
Yes.
and it was fantastic, and we're just very fortunate to have a mayor like Bilal Hayek championing that.
We give a shout out to
yeah.
him as well.
Yeah, so we just need to show that solidarity
Yes.
with the community. I think that's very important,
Amazing.
because the community, they would obviously let out their frustration, and they turn to leadership,
Yes.
and you've got to be there for them at the most difficult times, not just the best of times.
Right. But Rachelle, when issues like racism or community tension really arise, how does the council respond in a way that can support all residents without, igniting the situation?
We just need to ensure, look, our community has been really good. Been really good when it comes to, other leaders attacking our local community. We are I feel like we are a very close, tight-knit community where we are able to look after one another, look after our neighbours, our friends. I think that's really important. And like I said just previously,
Yes.
we just got to take leadership in the most difficult times to ensure that, people do understand that there is, you're not alone in this situation.
Yes. That's lovely. How do you balance representing a diverse population while ensuring that no group really is left out?
You just got to show up, I guess. It's really hard because we've got a lot of beautiful, there's over like 120 languages being
Yes.
spoken in Canterbury Bankstown. We are one of the diverse local government areas, and it's very important to show up to just as simple as showing up to events.
Yes.
To show you to join into the celebration, to understand their culture, to understand their faith. I think that's very important.
Right.
So you can't just always, attend events for one particular group, one
Right.
particular culture, one particular faith. You've got to attend to all because that's who you represent is the whole
The whole
community, not
community.
just one sect.
That is lovely. And we do see that a lot in Canterbury
Of
Bankstown.
course, we love our events.
We love our events. We definitely
Yes.
do. Rachelle, as a lifelong resident yourself and representing the ward of Baz Hill, you've been vocal also about improving access to everyday services. Now, where residents think of council, they often think of, footpaths,
Roads and rubbish.
local facilities. How do you prioritize these everyday needs, especially having, a little pool of money when you just mentioned?
So we're just prioritizing where we lack funding in specific areas. For instance, Villawood has been long neglected, and I'm really
Right.
happy that we are delivering a brand new community centre
Yeah.
in Villawood at Thorina Park, which I'm really excited about.
Right.
And we also got a big project, a brand new playground, multi-million-dollar
Yes.
playground funded by the state government down at Yagoona Reserve. So these are two major projects happening in Villawood, and we've got roundabouts happening, new
Wow.
footpaths are happening. So I feel like Villawood has been long neglected, which we are providing some love down in that specific area. So
Amazing. So the priorities go really to places that haven't been looking after.
correct.
That's
yes.
how you take it.
You go,
Yeah.
you look at suburbs by suburbs and see how much funding has been put into each suburb,
Right.
and you kind of go from there,
Try
just
to be
have
fair
that
and
bit of
balanced.
fairness. Yeah.
Lovely. Now, what progress have you seen in improving local infrastructure? Things like sports facilities or community spaces that have recently been working on.
So I've seen good improvements happening in my local area. We've got new toilet blocks being upgraded in Condell Park. We've got at Lake Lawana Lansdowne Reserve, which is really good. I'm trying to still advocate for more funding for the Condell Park shops because they just
Right.
had a minor upgrades on their shopping strips with to beautify it a bit more. And yeah, like I said, we've got two major projects happening in Villawood. So we are trying to upgrade the facilities in our local area. So I've been seeing some good improvements.
Right. How important do you think, Rachelle, talking about these improvements that there are happening and they've been done for the residents to actually know about it?
The residents should be made aware of the projects because sometimes they feel as though that council have neglected their local area. So it's
Right.
really important to show that you've advocated for this project to finishing and showing them that look, we've flourished in this project for you.
Yeah.
I think it's very important because there's a lot of kind of some of the residents out there that feel as though that the council has long
You're not
neglected
doing
the area.
anything. Why would we re-elect
Correct.
you and things like
So
that?
it's really important for them. And it's not just about the votes, but it's just letting the residents know that you're there for them. You're there. You haven't forgotten about their suburb. You haven't forgotten about their local area, their local parks, the local pools, and just ensuring that these are upgraded. And it makes you feel good that you're doing something for them. It's
Brings
just,
back.
sometimes it's just the small wins that count at the end.
Amazing. Now, looking ahead, Rachelle, what should residents expect in terms of improvements to the local services and livability?
If you're talking about major
Yes.
projects, we've got one of the state government projects that are currently happening, the Metro,
Yeah.
which is really exciting.
It is.
So I think that's projected to finish by November this year, hopefully,
Okay.
if no delays, which is really exciting for our community. So just as to put it this way with the community for Canterbury Bankstown, we've got two major cities, which is Bankstown and Campsie. And Bankstown is more kind of like a health and education precinct where you've got
Right.
the Bankstown Hospital that I'm hoping that it's projected to finish by, I believe, 2031.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Campsie, which has got the arts and culture precinct, which you'll have the Campsie Cultural Hub coming in at a later date, which is really exciting for Campsie. Because I feel like as though the former Canterbury side don't have like a multi-purpose centre,
Yeah.
because if you see the former Bankstown Council side, you've got the Brian Brown Theatre, you've got the Bankstown Arts Centre, but if you look
Yeah.
towards Campsie, There's no
There was
kind of
no- oh,
multi-purpose
okay.
centre. So you've got the cultural hub coming into that specific area, which is really exciting for my Canterbury
Yeah, amazing.
council
Good
resident
to know.
side. So and just upgrading, just keep doing what you're doing, is upgrading local facilities and advocating for more funding and getting our fair share of government funded projects within your local ward, which is Basil Ward for me.
Right. There were in the talks, Rachelle, that Bankstown is becoming a CBD, if I can say, about its nightlife and a more busier CBD. What's your talk about that?
Oh, it's very exciting actually because we don't have a nightlife, unfortunately, in Bankstown. So sometimes at night when you want to go and eat, we have to venture outside of
Yes.
Canterbury Bankstown, where you go to Parramatta because they're trading more later than our trading, which is annoying. You want to stay local, you want to shop
Yes.
local, you want to support local business. But I'm really excited that we've started our night markets just on Saturday, which
Oh.
is really good. I don't know if you've
I
heard about
haven't.
it.
That was a
Yeah,
very
I know.
random question.
Well, that was a good question because
Yeah.
so it started at 5 p.m. and you had all these
So when are they happening? Like
monthly, I think on a monthly
okay.
basis. So
Alright.
the first one happened just Saturday that passed,
Okay.
which was really good. I didn't unfortunately get to go down there
Alright.
myself, but I'm hoping to go down
So
next
whereabouts are
month.
they happening?
At Pork Eating Park.
Okay.
So you got different, businesses selling their
Oh.
food, their drinks, and
that's
it's really good.
nice.
We want to bring that nightlife into Canterbury Bankstown. I think it's really important.
Yeah, amazing. Because my second question would be, when would we start?
Oh, well,
doing
we've
this?
started.
We've started.
Christine.
There you go. I should be more
Yeah.
awake.
No.
That is
no.
amazing. Rachelle, what keeps you motivated to continue serving your community after multiple terms in leadership and definitely non-stop services?
I feel like it's the community that keeps me motivated. They're
Right.
kind of like the fuel
Yeah.
for me. Because the amount of advocacy I have done and that I have delivered for the community, I receive some messages of thanks for helping me, and I feel like that's really, it feels good. It feels good because
Yeah.
you've made a bit of a difference in that person's life, whether it's just a simple, a footpath, a road resurface. So that's what keeps me going.
Lovely.
Is the community.
Little bit of an annoying question. Have you received any not so good messages, like something that would want to keep you continue because it's not very positive?
So
Yeah.
I have received some
Yeah.
negative comments, but I feel like it's more of a broader text, not
Yes.
just a personal direct attack.
Yes.
But it just doesn't faze me. You have to be absolutely resilient
Yes.
in this job, otherwise,
Yes.
you'll struggle.
The reason why I ask this question is because I want to know, what would you like the residents really know better and understand more about your work or your position and what's happening behind the scenes. Maybe they wouldn't be that negative anymore towards the comments.
I feel like the residents are very understanding
Yes.
of this when I do explain to them, is that each counsellor do have a second full-time job, so we're
Yes.
unable to attend to phone calls straight away because we do have our full-time work during the day, and later is when we kind of respond back to them. And I feel like that's one of the misunderstanding roles of being a counsellor, because people assume that it's a 24-hour thing where they
Yeah.
can call us at 10 p.m, 11 p.m. at night
Wow.
sometimes. I had one calling at like 12:30 a.m. because they were complaining about the fireworks
Seriously?
on New Year's. Yes, it was.
Wow.
Yeah. So people need to understand, we have our full-time job. We've got
Yes.
there's some other counsellors that are married with family commitments as
Yes,
well on
that's
top.
true.
Like, it's really important for them to know that.
And maybe in the end, it's not everything through council. There's things that are done by state and others are done by federal.
We cop the blame for everything. It's fine. I think because we're the most easiest access in terms of
Right.
the public official. Like,
Right.
when you call us, you get us. You
Amazing.
don't get a staff member. Yeah.
That's a good and a bad thing sometimes.
Yes. Yeah.
Amazing. Rachelle, believe it or not, that was the end of our conversation today. I want to thank you so much for joining us. for sharing your perspective and for really telling us how local government works.
Thanks, Christine, for having me again, and thanks for the viewers for watching.
Of course, not a problem at all. And before we go, I always like to say something to our viewers. Understanding how local decisions are made helps ensure that every voice remains part of the community conversations. Until I see you next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and remember that strong communities are built through shared responsibility. See you then.